Twitter suspending the accounts of several journalists who cover both the social media platform and, of course, its owner, Elon Musk. Those affected include reporters from the Washington Post, the New York Times, and CNN. The move's coming after Twitter suspended an account that had been using public flight data to share the location of Mr. Musk's private plane. Last night, Musk tweeted, "Criticizing me all day long is totally fine, but doxing my real-time location and endangering my family is not. Same doxing rules apply to journalists as to everyone else. 7-day suspension for doxing. Some time away from Twitter is good for the soul."
I've been doxing the hell out of people, and this first guy, never heard anybody complain about it.
Yeah, it's, listen, he owns the platform. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He claims to be a free speech absolutist. And when he took over as owner a number of months ago at this point, not even,
but don't
he
you
said
think
that he
really...
would open it up. And yet there does seem to be some hypocrisy here.
Well, but, you know, you buy it. Okay, you're losing fortunes. You're bleeding through your eyeballs. Every day you get them. It looks like, you know, people are asking you to put more money up. Do you at least not get the satisfaction of saying, I hate those 5 journalists, I'm kicking them off? Can you at least give them something here? I mean, give him something.
You can do anything you want.
$44 billion. You know what I get to do? I get to slam a couple of journalists. It's the only thing that's been good.
He clearly has a need to be in the public eye in a way that is not helpful, it would seem, to his business. Certainly, I don't know if you heard our interview with Gary Black yesterday.
I loved it. A must
yeah, from the Future Fund. Take a listen to Gary Black, you know, a holder, obviously, of Tesla shares, who is just praying that Musk will stop talking.
I think he's going to realize the mistakes he's made, because I've seen him change even with advertisers. He's changed his whole approach to them. I think he's going to realize he's made a mistake with his rhetoric and everything, and he'll stop. But I think the bigger issue, which will make me and other shareholders feel better, is he gets out of Twitter, lets somebody that he trusts, works 24/7, his same vision, take over Twitter so he can go back and focus on Tesla.
So many of our conversations about Twitter, of course, bleed into Tesla. We've made the connection many times between Mr. Musk's attention on Twitter, his endless tweeting, his attacking certain people who might be Tesla buyers, right, and the decline in Tesla stock, which, by the way, yesterday was actually better than the market. It performed far better than the broader market.
Well, I think the apologists are coming on saying, listen, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's really paying attention, and you want him there, of which I do too. But, David, in the end, what we're discovering about a lot of the internet is it's very advertising connected. And the people who are involved in advertising have been cutting back at a lot of places, and really cutting back at Twitter, because they don't like to be associated with fractious and unruly people.
Yes.
But Twitter. My real-time location and endangering my family is not. Same doxing rules apply to journalists as to everyone else. 7-day suspension for doxing, some time away from Twitter, is good for the soul. So this move meeting pushback as some call out Musk, who was such a staunch promoter and proponent of free speech on the platform prior to owning the company. John, do you think he's conflating these two things? Do you think those journalists are really doxing, or rather, just to translate that, giving away his personal information, address, et cetera?
Well, I don't think it's that simple, Julia. From what I have seen, not all of these journalists were linking to something that showed where his jet was. They were talking about the story, tweeting about the story in some cases. So it doesn't seem like Elon Musk is telling the truth about what these journalists did, or he's having some, you tweeted something out that was a link to something that linked to something that I don't like. That doesn't seem like a very coherent argument. And so therefore, a lot of people have questions about whether he's creating a different set of rules when he feels uncomfortable, but it's okay for other people to feel uncomfortable in the name of free speech. I think he's got some explaining to do here.
Yeah, it does not seem like a very consistent free speech standard there. You know, I think it's interesting to think about the implications of this for advertising. You know, I cover the media and advertising business, and the question is, all of those brands, John, that said they were going to pause spending on the platform, are they coming back? Doesn't seem like they're really coming back yet. And we heard today from Color of Change and Rashad Robinson saying, we have called on advertisers to pause their spending. We want to reiterate this. He's not being consistent. He's not being fair. And remember, John, of course, there's been an uptick in hate speech on the platform that's been reported on as well.
Julia, but do advertisers really care that much about this? I mean, advertisers like attention, and there's a lot of controversy in media of all sorts these days. Inconsistency in enforcement of news rules or just rules in general doesn't seem to be grounds for all advertisers backing away.
Well, advertisers don't want to be associated with hate speech, and if there is indeed an uptick in hate speech, that would be reason to pause. And also, they want to make sure that things are working. They are pulling back on ad spending overall, and this is all an excuse to pause spending on Twitter to figure out what's working and what's not, maybe they're taking that as an opportunity.